What is a man? Some results of this visual culture impact on boys are the following statistics. 36% of third-grade boys have tried to lose weight. In the past 10 years, more than 1 million males have been found to have eating disorders. 15% of high school boys use Andro legally. It was formerly called Mark McGuire's bulk-up drug. 2.6% of high school senior boys reported using steroids at least once. It's Barbie's 50th birthday, too. Notice the difference in toys directed to girls. Mark Ryden's artwork, Saint Barbie, points to the desires of girls to end up being like Barbie when they grow up. Advertising plays into the desires of girls and women to be young, thin, beautiful, and seductive. Where is her intelligence located? Does it strike anyone else as weird that none of the great painters have been men? Insert writer, scientist, philosopher, and again, a not too humorous reflection of cultural beliefs. Here are 3 women who made a difference, yet their names are rarely mentioned as pioneers. Rosalind Franklin produced the first usable X-rays of DNA in 1952. A year later, Crick and Watson used them to determine that DNA spirals into a double helix. Maria Mitchell was the first person to record a comet sighting in the United States in 1847. She was a professor of astronomy at Vassar College until her retirement in 1888. Dorothea Klumpke Roberts was a United States astronomer. She became the first woman to obtain a doctorate for the Sorbonne for her thesis on Saturn's rings in 1893. Adding women to the curriculum and including a feminist pedagogy can cause resistance from students and colleagues. What is a feminist? Someone who advocates equal job opportunities, someone who advocates for guaranteed maternity leaves and child care in the workplace, someone who advocates for equal pay for equal work, and the work of feminism is not yet complete. Sometimes when women teach for women's rights, they step outside comfortable cultural norms. As Bell Hooks said, women of all races and classes who step out on the edge, courageously resisting conventional norms for female behavior, are almost always portrayed as crazy, out of control, or mad. Feminist pedagogy is not just for girls and women, but for all genders. To teach through feminist lenses, you should strive for egalitarian relationships in the classroom. Try to make all students feel valued as individuals and use their experiences as a learning resource. These principles can be expressed more simply in the form of 3 prohibitions to teachers in their relationships with students. 1, don't dominate. 2, don't humiliate. And 3, don't indoctrinate. If you are interested in these ideas, I would like to introduce you to an online, international, freely accessed journal that deals with concepts of visual culture and gender. We are hoping to present more simultaneous English and native language versions of articles in this journal. I co-edit this journal with Karen Kiefer Boyd from Penn State, and we invite you to browse through it and consider submitting an article to us for publication. Thank you very much for being here and listening to my talk. Points for discussion. I am expected to do more service work in my department because of my gender. Has this ever happened to you? Students have shown me disrespect because of my gender. Has this ever happened to you? I am treated with mistrust if I interact with the children from the campus daycare center. How about this one? I worry about coworkers or students who question my gender and sexuality because they think I'm either too tough or too sensitive. Has this happened? Most of my superiors are the same or the opposite gender as I am. Is it okay for a woman to call a male honey and not okay for a man to call a female honey? I feel comfortable or I feel uncomfortable hugging or putting an arm around a colleague or a student. Students and colleagues sometimes check me out and or make comments about my clothing that make me uncomfortable. We'll be going back to Second Life now and having a discussion through the texting.